Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedom and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedom.
Liberty Counsel files a federal lawsuit in Chicago, Illinois against a community room because it excludes religious viewpoints. I am Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. Joining me is Matt Barber, vice president of Liberty Counsel Action. Matt, this is a situation where Liberty Counsel actually requested to use the village of Plainfield, which is in Chicago, Illinois area, and it was a community room. We wanted to use this room to have a meeting, and in the application we talked about the fact that we are an organization that is a religious organization. We wanted to talk about various kinds of issues relating to the founding of the country, including we wanted to have prayer and speak about some of these issues from a religious perspective. Well, we were told by the officials that, in fact, that was not permissible, that even though the village hall is available for educational, cultural, civic, and informational events of organizations, they would not allow Liberty Counsel because of our religious perspective. The policy says that it is not available for religious services or other religious purposes. Well, they denied the wrong entity because now we filed a federal lawsuit against this entity for violating the First Amendment.
Yeah, and the village spokesman, Deanne Snodgrass, said that essentially that anybody who has apparently a religious belief or is operating from a Christian perspective is verboten. And we've had a similar case to this in the past, Matt, but they simply cannot do this. This is a gross violation of the First Amendment. And what I wonder, what even makes a person like Deanne Snodgrass think that they can grossly violate from a viewpoint perspective individuals' liberties like this and organizations' constitutional liberties. Yeah,
you wonder. Some of them are just either that ignorant or they have that much animosity against Christians or religious viewpoints. And Snodgrass said that although the village allows nonprofit educational groups to use the community room, religious groups are not welcomed. Yeah. The village even forbids weddings because something religious might be said. So you can't even have a wedding there because it may be that the pastor or the person presiding might ultimately have something religious to say. So that's unbelievable. The agent also said that the village would approve an educational program that, in fact, regarding the Founding Fathers, but only if it was completely secular and did not contain any reference to God or any other religious elements or discussion.
Well, Matt, we've had a number of cases very, very similar to this one involving libraries and so forth that have done the exact same thing. We've managed to get it resolved favorably by simply sending them a letter letting them know that they are clearly in violation of the Constitution and why. I'm wondering, why is this case different? Why do you suppose that they're willing to press forward and be sued here in a situation where they really have no leg to stand on whatsoever?
Well, we've had some where they have resolved it by a letter, and others we've had to file a suit. We've not lost a single case ever since our history, since 1989, involving these kinds of situations. We had one case in Wisconsin, in Alice, Wisconsin, West Alice, Wisconsin, and it was regarding, for example, a library community room. And they would not allow our client to actually go there to speak about the origins of life because he wanted to talk about the origins. He wanted to talk about the Bible. And they said, no, you can't do that, and no religion is allowed. When we filed suit, the room was called the Constitution Room. And when I went there to actually do the depositions, we went to the Constitution Room, and it has Constitution Room over the top of the door when you go in. And then when you're inside the room, it has the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence posted in the actual room. But you couldn't actually bring the constitutional protections with you into that room. I checked out some books, and they were dealing with origins. They were also dealing with theology. And I asked the director of the library, can this individual actually read these books by himself here in the Carroll? Oh, yeah, you got these in the library. Sure, we do. Can he take the same book and go into the Constitution room and tell other people about it? Oh, no. Why not? Well, because he would be talking about religion. So that was just a bizarre situation. We won that case. We've won every single case that we've filed with regards to these kinds of policies. I think what happens, Matt, is these policies sometimes they get spread around through library associations. They come up with these so-called model policies, and then one library uses it and another library uses it, and they just assume that this is what they're supposed to do. And they implement these, and it's not uncommon to go to a library or a community room where they say that politics and religion or political discussions in religion is not permitted. I would encourage people to check out your library policy, your community use policy, and if your policy says that politics and religion are not permitted, or particularly religious viewpoints or religious purposes, give Liberty Counsel a call because it's likely unconstitutional.
Well, and this is also just poor stewardship on behalf of taxpayer dollars here to waste taxpayer dollars fighting a lawsuit that they cannot win and relying on bad information. Isn't that a big part of the problem, Matt? I would encourage the ALA, and the libraries and organizations around the country to go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org, to learn what the Constitution really says about freedom of religious expression, to avoid the misinformation that is regularly disseminated by groups like the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, the People for the American Way, Americans United for Separation of Church and State. They present a twisted, skewed interpretation of the United States Constitution. And Matt, we've gone up against, for instance, the ACLU, and around in the ballpark of 90% of the time we face the ACLU, we beat them. We've won every single one of the cases that fall under these kinds of parameters. Yet, they keep banging their head against the wall, doing the same thing over and over again. And you have to wonder: is it hostility, or is it just that they're relying on such bad information?
Well, it's both in some cases. In some cases, it may be just bad information that they're relying upon. They're wanting to do the right thing, and they're not out there to pick a fight. They're not out there to be hostile. They're just wanting to do the right thing, and they assume that this is the right thing. They haven't educated themselves. Maybe they're looking at a policy, like in this particular case, maybe Deanne Snodgrass is not somebody who is hostile. We don't know. But she's administering this policy, and this is how it's been done, so we don't know. But we do know that once, in fact, you get sued or once, in fact, you get a letter, then education is no longer the issue. If you still insist on violating the Constitution, once you realize what the constitutional parameters are, then it kind of crosses the line, and so you can really flesh people out, so to speak, and figure out whether it's because of ignorance or because of hostility. Either way, it doesn't really matter. The end result is the same: censorship of religious viewpoints. And it makes no sense to have a community room like this Village Community Room in Illinois that's open to every other event, but not to religious discussion, not even to weddings, because the minister might say something religious, and that would be unconstitutional. How far have we come from the founding of this country, where religious freedom is a bedrock fundamental principle, to this, that you can't even have a wedding or you can't have a religious message because that's somehow going to cross the line and violate the Constitution? Yeah,
that's that notion of separation of church and state that everyone is familiar with, a term that is found nowhere in the United States Constitution, that again has been completely misapplied in Thomas Jefferson's letter to the Danbury Baptists, promising the Danbury Baptists, the church, that the state would not interfere with their free exercise of religion. Yet again, here we have this group, this community room, in violation of our express free exercise rights.
Well, I would encourage you to check out your local library policies. You can either go online to do that, or you can call them up, or just go down to your local library. And also find out any other community rooms or band shells. It may be a band shell in the park or around a lake. Find out what the policies are for using that particular facility. And if you have a question, give Liberty Counsel a call, email, or send the policy to us. You can call 1-800-671-1776. Again, our website is lc.org. At this time of the year, I would encourage you to educate yourself as well as others. A great resource is this little book, The New England Primer. It was the first printed textbook in America. I encourage you to read it. I remember the first time that I was reading it to my wife as we were driving in the vehicle, and she was driving and I was reading the book. It was amazing just to see what's in this little book, how children learned about the gospel, about the Bible. along with their alphabet and their grammar. You can also get this book, and I highly recommend it, by David Barton, called Original Intent. It's a great book regarding the founding of the country. It'd be a great read during the Christmas vacation. Go to Liberty Counsel's website at lc.org. You can also ask for the Liberator and other resources right there on the website, including the Liberty Alert email. Remember Liberty Counsel in your prayers as well as in your financial support, especially at this time of year. This is a critical time for Liberty Counsel as we end the year and prepare for the challenges ahead in 2013. Again, the website is lc.org, and the phone number is 800-671-1776.
You have been listening to Faith and Freedom with Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedom. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.